Hey guys, welcome back. You are watching Trains with Shane, and this is going to be another Will It Run video. I picked up this little Atlas Kato RS3 at a local train show. It's in MKT red, which you guys know MKT is my favorite railroad. It's not in fantastic shape. It's missing the horns. The handrails are a little bit beat up. I'm not sure if this is a custom paint or if it's factory, but well, I had to have it. It was from a gentleman's estate who had passed away, and the widow was selling off his train collection, so I bought as many pieces as I could afford to. Picked up this Kansas City Southern unit. It's Atlas. It runs like a dream, so we won't have to work on that, but also a couple other MKT pieces that you guys will see in upcoming videos. So let's get this RS3 over to the switching layout and find out what it does and what it doesn't do. Alright guys, we are over on the Inglenook switching layout with the RS3. Let's give it a little power, a little direction, and dial up the current. Alright, we are at full power. I see nothing. I get a little... Up, a little bit. Come on, come on, come on, come on, push. Come on, up. Yeah, it's struggling. So, yep, I think we're going to call that here. Hard to say if it is an electrical pickup issue or if we've got dried lubricants or something in there. So I'm going to treat this one just like I treated my other Atlas Kato RS3. We're going to get it back over to the disgusting workbench. We're going to take it apart and see what we find. I'll see you guys over there. Alright guys, we are back over on the disgusting workbench. As you can see, I've already removed our shell here and our bottom cover, fuel tank, air tanks. As you can see, it's the same old Kato split frame that we're used to. Exactly the same as our Seaboard Coastline unit that we worked on a few weeks back. And I'm guessing it's probably similarly affected. I'll bet you it's just an electrical pickup issue. So let's do some diagnostics and try to figure it out. We've got our power. Flip this over here, and we're just going to go right to the chassis. We'll flip our electrodes around and see if it goes the other way. Seems pretty good. So from the chassis to the motor, we seem to be having good contact, which means we're probably dealing with possibly some crusty wheels. These don't look too good. Just get the camera to focus on this. I'm trying an iPhone with a different mount here to see if we can do better than the old GoPro. Okay, well, let's take this thing apart. We've got our light PCBs here, which give us our directional lighting. The little resistor right there, or diode. A couple of small Phillips. I say Phillips, these might be JIS, but a Phillips will work if you don't have a JIS. It's Japanese Industrial Standard. Okay. One little captured nut fell out already. So we got our other one there. Obviously don't want to lose those. There's one truck. Just, you can gently pull up and the trucks will fall out. So watch for them. We don't need this screwdriver anymore. Carefully lift up and out on our, looks like the motor stayed with this half. We're not looking too bad on the chassis here. A little bit of gunk in there. It's just gotten slung off of the worm gear, it looks like. Extricate our motor here carefully. Contact looks good up in there. You want to make sure that the motor goes back in the same orientation that it came out. It'll work perfectly fine if you put it in turned 180 degrees over, but it'll run backwards if you're on DC like we are. So it saves you the trouble of having to bust it apart again and flip the motor over. So let's get in here and see if we can get this gunk out. That is pretty thick and sticky. Clean up our contact surfaces in here as best we can. A little bit messy, but not too bad. Get over here and do the same on this side. All right, I'm going to set this whole thing aside to get it out of our way here. All right. Ooh. Look at the funky state of our worm gear here. I'm not even sure if that shows up on camera. Let me... Oh yeah, hello, zoom. Yeah, it's funky. A little bit of, looks like maybe carbon in there. That's strange. I don't see that very often. Worm gear, got some gunkies up there. Got our two spacers there for the chassis. I'm willing to bet that most of our problem is going to be in our trucks. Let me pause this real quick and get resituated real fast. All right. So we're going to pull out our worm gears here. See if I can get a good zoom in on that. It's important that you pay attention to the stack up of what we've got here. You see we've got the, for lack of a better word, maybe a U-joint cup or a dog bone cup. Actually, it's more like a U-joint because it interfaces with exactly the same kind on the other end. Then we've got a little bearing block, then the worm gear, then a little plastic sleeve, and then the last bearing block. So you want to make sure, and it's the same mirrored on the other side. You just want to make sure that you, if any of those do come flying off, which can happen, that you put them back on in the right order when you put it back together, or else it won't go. Whoa, easy. Easy. Kind of having to learn how to do this all over again since we're I'm doing this through the viewfinder as opposed to when I do this in the GoPro, I'm looking directly at what I'm working on. Okay, making improvements here. This probably is not hurting our electrical conductivity at all. I just want it to be clean. Okay, set that one aside over here. Reach across the field of view here while my camera tries to refocus. And get the other one here. Do I need to trim those claws? Yes. I'll handle that right after I'm done with this video. There's any number of ways you could go back cleaning these things. I'm using what I've got on the bench here, which is just some cotton swabs. Okay, not bad. All right, set that one aside as well. Take a look at our frame here. Again, a little bit scongy, but not too bad. But what is important for our electrical contact is these surfaces right here, which is where the trucks ride. Clean the nasty out of that channel where the motor drive shaft is. Take care of that carbon dust down here. Our engine contact is right here on this pad, and as you can see, that's really clean, so no need to mess with that. Get down here in our other pad and get the nasties there, and we're gonna set this half of the chassis aside. Be sure to be mindful of these little bushings here, and again, it doesn't matter if they've got a little bit of stuff around them. These are spacers and non-conductive isolators. Focus. They keep the split chassis separated electrically, so if you miss one of these when putting it back together, it won't work. It'll create a dead short, which is not optimal. All right, well, let's take a look at our truck assemblies here. Interesting. I'm not sure if I'm seeing a problem or not, guys. I cannot recall, because I'd have to take my other one apart to look. You can see the little copper contact pad down there, right there. I'm having trouble seeing if there's one on the other side. Like there may be a remnant of one down in there, but maybe not. I can't remember if these have pads on both sides or not. I think they should. Although they might not. I mean, I can't remember how the if these are electrically isolated one side from the other, and that this side picks up the positive and this side the negative, and then the adverse is true. I can see we've got some definite crusties in here, and I really hope that's carpet fuzz. But yeah, it only appears to have an electrical pickup on one side. We can see that from the bottom. Let's check it out on a known working good unit here. There's contacts on that side. Yep, and none on the other. Okay, so that is how they're supposed to be. Had me worried there for a moment. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these trucks apart. Obviously, you have to be careful with them. They're held in place here and on the other side here. And basically, you can take it. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. If you're gentle about it, you can press against the wheels and pull down on the plastic to try to force this out of here, or get my my tweezers involved here, so you can see there's some hair on that from when I drug hair out of another one of these. Interestingly, the other hairy unit, I'm gonna have to do this on a hard surface, so I'm gonna have to do it off camera. The other hairy unit I got from the same individual at the train show. So maybe they had a cat, or maybe they ran these on track that was on the carpet or something. Okay, so I popped those. See, they pop down, and then if you turn them over, you can lift your plastic cover off, and be sure to have a good grip on this, because these will go flying if definitely some gunkies in there. Dried lubricant, old lubricant. So here's our money shot right here. Look at the mess that's in. You guys think this is what our electrical pickup issue is? Look at this. That's funky. You can even see it on the back side there. Yep. So we're just going to gently disassemble this one piece at a time here. Move our other truck up here. And I could feel it when I pulled that out of there. Excuse me. I don't suffer bad from seasonal allergies, but in the fall and winter, let's see, we lost our little spring there, our little pickup. These are, yeah, isn't that delicious? Definitely in a poor state here, but yeah, I don't suffer bad from seasonal allergies, but in the fall, sometimes I get a little cough from I don't know, it could be ragweed, it could be something else in the air. Okay, let's check out this little guy. Focus. Yeah, not gonna get a good focus out of that. Let's try this trick. See, we got a little bit of carbon buildup on that. That's definitely hurting us. And the back of the wheels are in a similar state, I would imagine. Let's check it out. Yeah, definitely funky. I'm gonna clean these off camera, because like I said, with this different setup, it's hard for me to fiddle around with it through the viewfinder here on the phone. So I'm going to pause this right here, and I'll be back once I've got all this cleaned up and reassembled. Alright guys, we are back, and I would say, judging by the state of our cotton swabs here, that our trucks were a little, well, I say truck singular. I haven't even done the second one yet. It was a little dirty. Managed to get the wheel sets fairly clean. The outsides, the flange surfaces still need to be cleaned. I'll do that once the trucks are put together and back on the locomotive. The state of the metal truck frames here was not too bad. I got in there and cleaned out the I call it the bearing surfaces, but yeah, there was quite a bit of buildup on our little copper wiper here. As you can see, the actual contact patch is very small, but got that cleaned up. Our gears weren't in too bad a shape, so didn't have to do a whole lot for those. So now the only thing left to do is to put the business back together here. two small gears go on first. Trying to get a good shot of these. Is that a piece of casting flash? Yeah, it doesn't appear to protrude, so it shouldn't affect our operation here. Right. Our big gear has two sides. Obviously there's small teeth on the underside to engage with the smaller gears here, so that has to go down as you're reassembling. Give it a whirl, make sure it's back. Then it helps if you have 6 hands to do this. But start putting your trucks back together. I am not incredibly good at doing this. They'll eventually stick back together. I can remember how this wiper goes. Turn that upside down. Probably should have stuck that in before I dropped our second axle on. Come on. There we go, right about there. It's N scale, so as you can imagine, it's a tiny bit fiddly. I cannot remember if these slot together or not. I'm turning this into a travesty. Yeah, that should slot together right on the edge of that gear there. Okay. All right, let's try this again. See how many times I can screw up reassembly of this. You HO scale guys have it easy. Ever did it again. If you've ever taken apart and reassembled the trucks on a Nathern Blue Box HO scale, it is dead easy. Okay, all of those are back together. On goes our plastic frame. I cleaned that out too. And the plastic frame only goes on one way. You can tell because it's got little cutouts here for your axle gears. So I put that down in there. It should get back in camera here. It should just all click together. It's not just clicking back together. What are we doing wrong here? Probably just a small alignment issue. Let's see, we're off here. There we go. It snaps. Rolling nice and smooth. You could toss a little bit of very, very light oil in here. I'm not going to bother with that until we get everything back together and it seems to be running okay. Because if you have to strip these guys down again, the last thing you want to do is have oil all over the place. So that's one truck done. Going to do the same with this guy here. And I'll bring you back basically once we get the whole thing put back together. All right, we're back over here on the switching layout. As you can see, we've got our subject all reassembled here. It's definitely a lot easier to put one of these back together than it is to take it apart, because getting the shell off can be a little fiddly. All right, we're going to give our track power here, forward direction, and roll in the juice. Oh, here we go. Definitely smoother than she was. Okay, there to the end, we'll bring her back. All right, change back to forward direction. Let's get our turnout switched over there. No problems through that turnout. Need to clean this track a little bit. Full throttle on my little Roku Han controller here. Oh, there we go. Back. Right, dial that power back down, turn our thing off. Actually, let's bring it back over here for a close-up. Oh, there she is. All right, guys, looks like this one's running okay. I mean, it is still very old, so it's not going to run like a new Kato for sure. But it's almost worth what we paid for it. Not bad. Runs about as well as my other RS3 does. I imagine if I run this in a little bit more, it'll be even better. But no stutters now like we were having. So I think we're going to call this one a win. And just goes to show you that a little bit of cleaning can go a long way when it comes to the performance of one of these things. So I want to thank you guys for joining me on another episode of Trains with Shane. And will this run? Yes, it does. I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I will catch you on the next one.